Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A branch of knowledge. Teachers should be well trained in their subject. Possibly accepting or permitting. The time is fixed by the director and players and therefore subject to much variation. A person who owes allegiance to that nation. A monarch has a duty to his subjects. Being under the power or sovereignty of another or others. Subject peoples. Make subservient, forced to submit or subdue. The subject matter of a conversation or discussion. He didn't want to discuss that subject. Something, a person or object or scene, selected by an artist or photographer for graphic representation. A moving picture of a train is more dramatic than a still picture of the same subject. A person who is subjected to experimental or other observational procedures. Someone who is an object of investigation. The subjects for this investigation were selected randomly. Some situation or event that is thought about. He had been thinking about the subject for several years. Cause to experience or suffer or make liable or vulnerable to. He subjected me to his awful poetry. Grammar. One of the two main constituents of a sentence. The grammatical constituent about which something is predicated. Likely to be affected by something. The bond is subject to taxation. Logic. The first term of a proposition. Make accountable for. He did not want to subject himself to the judgments of his superiors. A branch of knowledge. The area over which a bailiff has jurisdiction. A branch of knowledge. In what discipline is his doctorate? Develop, a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Parents must discipline their children. The act of disciplining. The offenders deserved the harsh discipline they received. Punish in order to gain control or enforce obedience. The teacher disciplined the pupils rather frequently. A system of rules of conduct or method of practice. He quickly learned the discipline of prison routine. The trait of being well behaved. He insisted on discipline among the troops. Training to improve strength or self-control. A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science. A set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics. A set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers is a field. Play as a fielder. Select a team or individual player for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. A branch of knowledge. A branch of knowledge. Anthropology is the study of human beings. Give careful consideration to. Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. No schools offer graduate study in interior design. Attentive consideration and meditation. Preliminary drawing for later elaboration. Think intently and at length, as for spiritual purposes. He is meditating in his study. Learn by reading books. He is studying geology in his room. A detailed critical inspection. A written document describing the findings of some individual or group. This accords with the recent study by Hill and Dale. Be a student of a certain subject. Consider in detail and subject to an analysis in order to discover essential features or meaning. A composition intended to develop one aspect of the performer's technique. A study in spiccato bowing. A room used for reading and writing and studying. He knocked lightly on the closed door of the study. A state of deep mental absorption. She is in a deep study. Be a student. Follow a course of study. Be enrolled at an institute of learning. Someone who memorizes quickly and easily, as the lines for a part in a play. He is a quick study. A branch of knowledge. A branch of knowledge. Possibly accepting or permitting. A passage capable of misinterpretation. Have the skills and qualifications to do things well. A capable administrator. Having the requisite qualities for. Usually followed by, of, having capacity or ability. Capable of winning. Followed by, of, having the temperament or inclination for. No one believed her capable of murder. Of textures, full of small openings or gaps. An open texture. Not defended or capable of being defended. An open city. Possibly accepting or permitting. Open to interpretation. With no protection or shield. Open to the weather. Not sealed or having been unsealed. The letter was already open. Openly straightforward and direct without reserve or secretiveness. An open and trusting nature. Affording free passage or view. Open waters. Start to operate or function or cause to start operating or functioning. Open a business. A clear or unobstructed space or expanse of land or water. Finally broke out of the forest into the open. Ready or willing to receive favorably. Used of mouth or eyes. Keep your eyes open. Spread out or open from a closed or folded state. Open the map. Become available. An opportunity opened up. Afford access to. The door opens to the patio. Open and observable, not secret or hidden. Open ballots. Where the air is unconfined. The concert was held in the open air. Affording unobstructed entrance and exit, not shut or closed. An open door. Become open. The door opened. Information that has become public. All the reports were out in the open. Make available. This opens up new possibilities. Cause to open or to become open. Mary opened the car door. Not brought to a conclusion, subject to further thought. An open question. Accessible to all. Open season. Affording free passage or access. Open drains. A tournament in which both professionals and amateurs may play. Begin or set in action, of meetings, speeches, recitals, etc. He opened the meeting with a long speech. Display the contents of a file or start an application as on a computer. Having no protecting cover or enclosure. An open boat. Make the opening move. Kasparov opened with a standard opening. Not having been filled. The job is still open. Not requiring union membership. An open shop employs non-union workers. Open to or in view of all. An open protest. Ready for business. The stores are open. Set theory, of an interval that contains neither of its endpoints. Without undue constriction as from e.g. tenseness or inhibition. The clarity and resonance of an open tone. Have an opening or passage or outlet. The bedrooms open into the hall. A person who owes allegiance to that nation. Inside the country. Concerned with or applicable to or belonging to an entire nation or country. The national government. Limited to or in the interests of a particular nation. National interests. Owned or maintained for the public by the national government. National parks. Of or relating to or belonging to a nation or country. National hero. Characteristic of or peculiar to the people of a nation. A national trait. Of or relating to nationality. National origin. Held from above and hanging down. Of a clause, unable to stand alone syntactically as a complete sentence. A subordinate, or dependent, clause functions as a noun or adjective or adverb within a sentence. Being under the power or sovereignty of another or others. A dependent prince. A person who relies on another person for support, especially financial support. Contingent on something else. Addicted to a drug. Relying on or requiring a person or thing for support, supply, or what is needed. Dependent children. Make subservient. Forced to submit or subdue. Put down by force or intimidation. The rich landowners subjugated the peasants working the land. Music, melodic subject of a musical composition. The theme is announced in the first measures. An essay, especially one written as an assignment. Linguistics, the form of a word after all affixes are removed. The subject matter of a conversation or discussion. His letters were always on the theme of love. A unifying idea that is a recurrent element in literary or artistic work. It was the usual, boy gets girl, theme. Provide with a particular theme or motive. The restaurant often themes its menus. The subject matter of a conversation or discussion. It was a very sensitive topic. Some situation or event that is thought about. He kept drifting off the topic. The state of being contented with your situation in life. He relaxed in sleepy contentedness. The amount that can be contained. What a communication that is about something is about. Satisfied or showing satisfaction with things as they are. A contented smile. The sum or range of what has been perceived, discovered, or learned. Something, a person or object or scene, selected by an artist or photographer for graphic representation. Usually plural. Everything that is included in a collection and that is held or included in something. He emptied the contents of his pockets. Make content. I am contented. Satisfy in a limited way. He contented himself with 1 glass of beer per day. The proportion of a substance that is contained in a mixture or alloy, etc. Something, a person or object or scene, selected by an artist or photographer for graphic representation. A specific size and style of type within a type family. An enveloping structure or covering enclosing an animal or plant organ or part. The enclosing frame around a door or window opening. A person of a specified kind, usually with many eccentricities. A mental case. Printing. The receptacle in which a compositor has his type, which is divided into compartments for the different letters, spaces, or numbers. For English, a compositor will ordinarily have 2 such cases, the uppercase containing the capitals and the lowercase containing the small letters. The quantity contained in a case. The housing or outer covering of something. The clock has a walnut case. Bed linen consisting of a cover for a pillow. The burglar carried his loot in a pillowcase. A special set of circumstances. It may rain, in which case the picnic will be cancelled. An occurrence of something. It was a case of bad judgment. Enclose in, or as if in, a case. My feet were encased in mud. Nouns or pronouns or adjectives, often marked by inflection, related in some way to other words in a sentence. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. A person who is subjected to experimental or other observational procedures. Someone who is an object of investigation. The cases that we studied were drawn from 2 different communities. A glass container used to store and display items in a shop or museum or home. A person requiring professional services. A typical case was the suburban housewife described by a marriage counselor. A portable container for carrying several objects. The musicians left their instrument cases backstage. A problem requiring investigation. Perry Mason solved the case of the missing heir. A specific state of mind that is temporary. A case of the jitters. A statement of facts and reasons used to support an argument. He stated his case clearly. Look over, usually with the intention to rob. They men cased the house. The actual state of things. That was not the case. A person who is subjected to experimental or other observational procedures. Someone who is an object of investigation. Stout-bodied, nearly tailless domesticated cavy, often kept as a pet and widely used in research. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Circulate or distribute or equip with. Issue a new uniform to the children. Come out of. Water issued from the hole in the wall. The act of issuing printed materials. One of a series published periodically. She found an old issue of the magazine in her dentist's waiting room. An opening that permits escape or release. The canyon had only one issue. The becoming visible. Prepare an issue for public distribution or sale. Supplies, as food or clothing or ammunition, issued by the government. The immediate descendants of a person. He died without issue. The act of providing an item for general use or for official purposes, usually in quantity. A new issue of stamps. Make out an issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. An important question that is in dispute and must be settled. The issue could be settled by requiring public education for everyone. Bring out an official document, such as a warrant. A vaguely specified concern. Several matters to attend to. Have weight. Have import, carry weight. It does not matter much. Some situation or event that is thought about. It is a matter for the police. A problem. Is anything the matter? That which has mass and occupies space. Physicists study both the nature of matter and the forces which govern it. Used with negation, having consequence. They were friends and it was no matter who won the games. Written works, especially in books or magazines. He always took some reading matter with him on the plane. Easily impressed emotionally. Often followed by of, or to, yielding readily to or capable of. Susceptible to colds. Of a clause, unable to stand alone syntactically as a complete sentence. A subordinate, or dependent, clause functions as a noun or adjective or adverb within a sentence. A word that is more specific than a given word. Make subordinate, dependent, or subservient. Our wishes have to be subordinated to that of our ruler. An assistant subject to the authority or control of another. Lower in rank or importance. Rank or order is less important or consider of less value. Art is sometimes subordinated to science in these schools. Subject or submissive to authority or the control of another. A subordinate kingdom. Speaking or behaving in an artificial way to make an impression. Being excited or provoked to the expression of an emotion. Acted upon, influenced. The content of a particular field of knowledge. The content of a particular field of knowledge. People in general, especially a distinctive group of people with some shared interest. Mathematics, the set of values of the independent variable for which a function is defined. The content of a particular field of knowledge. A particular environment or walk of life. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. His domain extended into Europe. Characteristic of or meant for a single person or thing. An individual serving. Being or characteristic of a single thing or person. Individual drops of rain. A human being. Separate and distinct from others of the same kind. Mark the individual pages. Concerning one person exclusively. We all have individual cars. A single organism. A human being. The immaterial part of a person, the actuating cause of an individual life. Deep feeling or emotion. A human being. A secular form of gospel that was a major black musical genre in the 1960s and 1970s. Soul was politically significant during the civil rights movement. The human embodiment of something. The soul of honor. Causing or capable of causing death. Mortal combat. A human being. Involving loss of divine grace or spiritual death. Subject to death. Mortal beings. Unrelenting and deadly. Mortal enemy.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.